What if the one thing you've been trying to hide, your imperfection, is actually your greatest gift? In a world obsessed with filters, likes, and flawless success, Brené Brown delivers a message that feels almost rebellious. You are already enough. Not when you lose the weight, not when you earn the promotion, not when you finally get it all together. Right now. Introduction. Welcome to AudioBookCAPS, where we distill powerful books into life-changing lessons. Today's feature, The Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown, a best-selling author, research professor, and vulnerability expert. This book is a bold invitation to step out of shame and into wholehearted living. It's not about fixing yourself. It's about letting go of who you think you're supposed to be and embracing who you truly are. Whether you're battling perfectionism, feeling unworthy, or simply craving deeper connection, this summary will reveal the 10 guideposts to help you live with more courage, compassion, and authenticity. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. Wholehearted Living. So what does it really mean to live a wholehearted life? Brené Brown describes wholehearted living as showing up in life with your whole self, imperfections and all, and believing you are worthy of love and belonging right now, not someday in the future. It's about embracing life with courage, compassion, and connection. Let's break that down. Courage, in this context, doesn't mean heroism. It comes from the Latin word cor, meaning heart. It's about speaking your truth and owning your story, even the messy parts. Compassion is about being kind to yourself and others. When things go wrong, don't beat yourself up. Treat yourself like you would treat a close friend going through the same thing. And then there's connection, which Brown says is why we're here. But connection can't happen if we're constantly trying to hide the parts of ourselves we think aren't good enough. Here's the twist. Wholehearted living isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily practice. It's waking up each morning and choosing to show up as your authentic self, even if that means being vulnerable. In a world that pressures us to hustle for approval and prove our worth, the Gifts of Imperfection invites us to slow down, breathe, and remember this. You are enough, just as you are. Chapter 2. Let go of who you think you're supposed to be. Let's be honest, we've all done it. We try to fit in, please everyone, and live up to expectations we didn't even set for ourselves. Whether it's looking a certain way, acting professional, or always being the strong one, it's exhausting. In this chapter, Brené Brown challenges us to let go of the image we think we should be and instead embrace who we truly are. Because guess what? The perfect version of you doesn't exist, and try to become it only creates shame, stress, and disconnect. Brown calls this shift cultivating authenticity. And no, it's not about oversharing your life on social media. It's about making choices that align with your values, even when it's uncomfortable or unpopular. Think of it this way. Are you saying yes to things just to avoid conflict? Are you chasing goals that don't actually feel meaningful to you? That's the version of you shaped by pressure, not purpose. Authenticity means setting boundaries, speaking your truth, and giving yourself permission to be real. And yes, that takes courage, because not everyone will like it. But the reward is deep. Freedom, connection, and peace. When we stop performing and start living, we create space for the people and the life that truly belong to us. Chapter 3. Cultivate self-compassion. Let's face it, we're often our own worst critics. We mess up, and instead of offering ourselves grace, we launch into self-blame. I'm so stupid. Why can't I get it right? Sound familiar? Brené Brown says it's time to stop that inner beat-down. In this chapter, she teaches us how to replace self-criticism with self-compassion. And no, it's not about making excuses. It's about treating yourself like you would treat a good friend going through a hard time. Self-compassion, according to researcher Kristen Neff, whom Brown references, has three key elements. Self-kindness, be gentle with yourself instead of judgmental. Common humanity, remember that you're not alone. Everyone struggles. Mindfulness, acknowledge your pain without exaggerating or ignoring it. Think about it. If your best friend failed at something, would you say, "You're such a failure"? Of course not. You'd probably say, "Hey, it's okay. Everyone messes up. You're doing your best." That's the voice we need to use with ourselves. Brown also reminds us that perfectionism and self-compassion can't coexist. When we strive to be perfect, we believe we're only worthy if we succeed. But self-compassion says, "I'm worthy no matter what." At the end of the day, self-compassion isn't weakness, it's courage. It's the fuel that allows us to try, fail, get back up, and keep going without losing our sense of self-worth. Chapter 4. Embrace vulnerability. Let's be real. Just hearing the word vulnerability can make us squirm. Most of us think it means weakness, like crying in public or admitting we're scared. But according to Brené Brown, vulnerability is actually the heart of courage. In this chapter, Brown flips the script. She defines vulnerability as uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. It's opening yourself up without knowing what will happen. And that's brave, not weak. Think about it. Starting a new relationship? That's vulnerability. Sharing your idea at work? Vulnerability. Saying, "I love you" first, asking for help, try something new, all vulnerable moments. And yet, they're the exact moments that make life meaningful. The problem is, many of us were raised to believe vulnerability is something to avoid. We armor up with perfectionism, sarcasm, or emotional walls to avoid getting hurt. But here's the catch. When we shut out vulnerability, we also shut out joy, connection, creativity, and love. Brown makes it clear, vulnerability is the birthplace of all the things that make life worth living. It's not about oversharing or being reckless. It's about showing up with your whole heart, even when there are no guarantees. So the next time you feel exposed or scared to open up, remind yourself, being vulnerable is the bravest thing you can do. Chapter 5. Let go of perfectionism. Let's talk about perfectionism, that sneaky voice that tells you, if I just do everything flawlessly, I'll finally be enough. Sounds familiar, right? In this chapter, Brené Brown breaks down a huge myth. Perfectionism is not the same as striving to be your best. It's actually a shield we use to protect ourselves from shame, blame, and judgment. We think if we look perfect, act perfect, and achieve perfectly, we'll avoid criticism. But instead, we end up feeling anxious, overwhelmed, and never good enough. Perfectionism is driven by fear. Fear of failure, of rejection, of not being worthy. And it's a trap. Even when you hit the mark, the bar moves. There's always something more to fix, improve, or polish. Brown encourages us to replace perfectionism with healthy striving, the kind that's rooted in self-compassion and authenticity. It means doing your best because it matters to you, not because you're trying to earn someone else's approval. Here's the real truth. People don't connect with your perfect image. They connect with your real, imperfect self. The moment you let go of perfectionism, you create space for creativity, growth, and deeper relationships. So instead of asking, "How can I be perfect?" try asking, "What would it look like to show up fully, flaws and all?" Because done is better than perfect, and you are enough just as you are. Chapter 6. Build resilience through spirituality. When life knocks you down, and it will, what helps you get back up? In this chapter, Brené Brown explores the idea of resilience, our ability to bounce back from stress, failure, or heartache. And she discovered something surprising in her research. Spirituality plays a big role in building that inner strength. Now, let's be clear, Brown isn't talking about religion in a traditional sense, though it can include that for some people. She defines spirituality as recognizing that we are all connected to something greater than ourselves, and that this connection gives our lives meaning and purpose. It's that sense of I'm not alone in this, even in the darkest moments. Spirituality helps us frame pain in a larger context. Instead of thinking, why is this happening to me? We begin to ask, what can this teach me? That shift in perspective can change everything. Brown also points out that people who are spiritually grounded tend to use healthier coping strategies. Instead of numbing pain with food, work, or distraction, they lean into practices like prayer, meditation, or simply spending time in nature. Resilience isn't about being tough all the time. It's about being able to recover, to find light in the dark, and to trust that there's meaning in the struggle. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, ask yourself, what helps you feel connected? That might just be the anchor you need. Chapter 7. Practice gratitude and joy. Here's something you might not expect. Joy doesn't just show up on its own. It's something we cultivate. And according to Brené Brown, the key to unlocking more joy in your life is through one powerful habit: gratitude. Most of us think that joy leads to gratitude. Like, when I get that promotion, then I'll be grateful. But Brown flips it. She found in her research that people who actively practice gratitude actually experience more joy in their everyday lives. And it's not about making a mental checklist or just saying thanks when something goes well. It's about intentionally noticing the little things: a warm cup of coffee, a kind word, a moment of peace, and savoring them. Brown shares a simple but powerful truth. Gratitude is a practice, not just an attitude. The people who are truly joyful don't just feel grateful. They do gratitude. They write it down, speak it out loud, and make it part of their daily routine. And here's something else. Joy can feel vulnerable. Ever had that moment when everything's going well, and you suddenly start worrying that something bad will happen? That's foreboding joy. Practicing gratitude is how we anchor ourselves in the good, instead of waiting for it to disappear. So if you want more joy in your life, don't wait for a big reason. Start by noticing what's already good and giving thanks for it. Chapter 8. Cultivate intuition and trusting faith. Have you ever had a gut feeling about something, good or bad, and couldn't explain why? That's intuition, and according to Brené Brown, it's more than just a magical sixth sense. It's actually a deep form of wisdom that comes from experience, instinct, and trust. In this chapter, Brown encourages us to lean into our intuition, even when we don't have all the facts. That's where trusting faith comes in. Now, she's not talking about blind faith or religious dogma. She defines faith as believing in something even when we can't fully prove or control the outcome. It's that quiet confidence that things will unfold as they're meant to, even if we can't see the full picture yet. Here's the problem. In a world that values logic, data, and certainty, we often ignore our intuition because we're afraid of being wrong. But Brown reminds us that not knowing everything is okay. Uncertainty doesn't mean failure. It means being human. Intuition is like a muscle. The more we listen to it, the stronger it gets. That means slowing down, paying attention to your inner voice, and learning to trust yourself. When we combine intuition with faith, we create a kind of grounded courage. The kind that says, I may not have all the answers, but I trust myself to figure it out. And honestly, isn't that what we all need a little more of? Chapter 9. Find meaningful work and creativity. When you hear the word creativity, do you instantly think, I'm not an artist? If so, Brené Brown has news for you. We are all creative. Every single one of us. In this chapter, she explains that creativity isn't just about painting or writing. It's about expression. It's how we bring meaning to our lives. And when we deny our creativity, we don't just avoid art supplies. We actually start to feel disconnected and stuck. Brown puts it this way: and used creativity isn't benign. It metastasizes. It turns into grief, rage, judgment, sorrow. In other words, when we shut down our creative energy, it doesn't just disappear, it finds darker ways to show up. And it's not just about hobbies. It's also about meaningful work. Work that lights you up, aligns with your values, and makes you feel like you're contributing something real to the world. Now, that doesn't mean you have to quit your job and follow your passion. Brown is clear. Meaningful doesn't always mean perfect. Sometimes it's simply about finding purpose in what you already do, or giving yourself permission to explore something just for you. Whether it's cooking, doodling, solving problems, or building something with your hands. Creativity is a form of self-care, and making time for it is one of the most life-giving things you can do. So go ahead, pick up the pen, try the recipe, start the project. Not because you have to be great at it, but because it brings you back to life. Chapter 10. Laugh, Sing, and Dance. When was the last time you laughed until your stomach hurt? Sang at the top of your lungs in the car? Danced around your kitchen like nobody was watching? In this final chapter, Brené Brown reminds us that laughter, song, and dance aren't just fun. They're essential to our well-being. They're ways we express joy, release stress, and connect with others and ourselves. But somewhere along the way, many of us stop doing these things. We get self-conscious. We worry about looking silly or being judged. Brown calls this the fear of being uncool, and it's one of the biggest barriers to wholehearted living. The truth is, joy is vulnerable. It requires us to let go of control, be present, and lean into the moment. And that can feel uncomfortable, especially in a world that tells us to be serious or act our age. Brown encourages us to let go of comparison and self-consciousness and give ourselves permission to play. Laugh freely, sing badly, dance awkwardly. Why? Because those moments reconnect us with our humanity and with each other. You don't need rhythm. You don't need a stage. You just need a willingness to be real and let joy in. So go ahead, put on your favorite song, turn it up loud, and let your body move. Not to impress anyone, but to remind yourself you're alive. Conclusion. So there you have it. The Gifts of Imperfection isn't just a book. It's an invitation to let go of shame, perfection, and the constant need to prove yourself. And instead, embrace your beautifully messy, completely worthy, wonderfully imperfect self. Brené Brown gives us 10 powerful guideposts to help us live more fully, love more deeply, and show up more authentically. Whether it's practicing self-compassion, dancing like no one's watching, or trusting our intuition even when the path isn't clear, this book is a gentle but firm reminder that you are enough, just as you are. If this summary resonated with you, I highly recommend reading the full book. There's so much more depth, honesty, and heart in every chapter. It's the kind of book you want to come back to again and again. And if you enjoyed this summary, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new breakdown from AudioBookCAPS. We've got more life-changing books coming your way. Also, drop a comment below. What part of the Gifts of Imperfection hit home for you? What's one way you're going to practice wholehearted living this week? Thanks for tuning in. And remember, your imperfections aren't flaws, they're gifts.